And we're live. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And it has been a long time for sure. Uh, Before I get started, let me make sure I have everything set up. I probably should have brought a microphone. I could probably still get a microphone, but hopefully you can hear me okay. I usually just do this with my laptop setup. Just keep it simple. And then I have a light. Uh, But yes, welcome to my first live of the new year. And that's all New Year's, whether you celebrate the Gregorian New Year 2025 or the actual New Year, which happened on the 20th last week, for the beginning of the actual spring and Aries season and all of those things. So yeah, happy all of that. Um, and then today we have a new moon. Happy new moon, and there's an eclipse, so there's a lot of energy, a lot of things happening, a lot of goal setting. Daria, you want to be in the live? No, I can't give you a kiss right now. Okay, can you just sit and chill? You can sit and chill. No, Daria, chill. She likes to try to like sneak and try to give me a kiss. So funny. And then I have another thing that I'm also celebrating, another thing to celebrate, which is my lock anniversary is today. I actually just finished retwisting my hair. I was supposed to do it yesterday, but I had a lot going on yesterday, so I didn't get to it. But I just retwisted it, like literally just finished like about an hour ago. But yeah, today is my lock anniversary, so I did some self care to my locks. I did a natural hair mask, um, and I also did a face mask because that was needed. And yeah, I did that, and that's basically what I really need to do a apple cider vinegar detox with my locks. It's been a minute, but yeah, it's been 8 years that I have been locked, which is wild, y'all. It doesn't feel like time. I don't know. It's weird. Like time is going by fast, but it doesn't feel like that much time has passed by. I think the panini brought us into this portal that it was very weird with time. Anyways, so yeah, it's been 8 years. I need to do like a lock update video because I think the last video that I did anything about my locks was like at year 3 or whatever, or maybe 4, and now it's year 8. So a lot has changed, but it's still the best decision that, or a lot has changed in my locks, but it's still one of the best decisions I've made with my hair. Uh, Hello to Mitten62 from Dallas. What's up? um, but yeah, so it's still the best decision, and I'm definitely way more lazy with my hair than I used to be, but it is what it is. I'm still cute. So yeah, happy lock anniversary to me and to anybody else out there who celebrates their lock anniversary in March. Shout out to all the Aries bringing in the new year, and shout out to this new moon and eclipse bringing in all this real special energy. I also, if you are watching this live on replay, I encourage you to go to your settings if you're watching this on a computer or on your phone. I don't know how to do it on the TV, but if you are watching this on the replay, I encourage you to set the playback to 1.5. It's just fast enough where you get through it a little bit faster. I talk a little bit faster, and it's not too chickmunky. You want to go even faster, you can set it to 2, and then it's kind of like chickmunk version of me. But I get paid either way if you watch the whole video, and well, not the whole video, if you watch the ads in between the video. But if you watch the whole video on fast playback, it still counts as a video. So I've been doing that a lot lately. I think it's my ADHD. That like I want to get through it quick so that I can like move on with the rest of my day. But I don't know. I think it has to do with how social media has programmed us to want to see things quickly, like quick, fast entertainment. And so that's why I be watching some stuff. And some people talk really slow, and there's nothing wrong with that. I talk slow sometimes. I talk a lot, which is why I like that there's like a little timer that I can see how long I'm going. It's already been 5 minutes. Like, I don't even know. But like these long pauses and stuff, you put this on fast replay, you'll get through it quicker. I encourage you to do that with a lot of videos. If it doesn't have music, the music starts making it weird, and then you just gotta not do that. But yeah, but I just want to shout out before I get into my life updates. First of all, the people are here that come here live, and everybody watching it on the replay. But I really want to shout out to my OG core fans who been rocking with me since the beginning and who still rock with me no matter what I put out. It's about 100 to 200-ish people. You know who you are. Do y'all want anything from the store? I appreciate y'all watching all my videos as I make this transition kind of out of the RV life. Not that I'm leaving RV life, at least not right now. But like, I really have been trying to make a transition on my channel, and it's very difficult because the algorithm don't like me, don't like Black people, don't like diversity, they want you to be in a niche. They won't just show all your content to all of your subscribers when they are logged on. I don't understand why that doesn't work, but I digress. But I want to shout out to those 100 to 200-ish people who rock with all my stuff all the time. And you guys are fresh out the gate to watch it right when it comes out. So I appreciate y'all. Thank you. So let's get into it. We don't want to be here all night. It's 5:00 my time, but if you're watching this on the East Coast, it's already dark already. I think it's 8:00. Well, yeah, it's 8:00. That's what I set it for, but but it's gonna be late, and I want you to get on the rest of your night, because I want to get on with the rest of mine. So life update since November. I did the last live November 30th, so technically December. That was the last time that you guys saw my face live streaming. And at the time, I was promoting my self-care boxes, which I thought I'd bring up again just because I have them handy. So since then, I have decorated a few of them just because, this was like self-care for myself as well. So I made these boxes because I've had an Etsy shop before, and I've had a side business that I'm currently dissolving and trying to liquidate all the rest of the stuff that I have, and then just stock up for myself to last me for a little while so I don't have to remake anything. But that was my natural deodorant. Royal Armor, all natural deodorant made with 4 ingredients. But yeah, I used to sell this on Etsy. It's still currently available on my website. And I only have a few left, but I wanted to downsize this, but I also wanted to highlight all the things that I use for bodily self-care. So self-care comes in a lot of different ways. You got your health and wellness kind of thing, and then you have, the self-care of your body, the outside of your body, and then there's the inside of your body, and then you also have your mind, so many different things. But this is kind of a hand-picked and curated handcrafted box. I put together just a few boxes, and I appreciate shout out to Brandy who bought the one of 6 that I've made, and there's still 5 left. um but I really want it because I've had people ask me, what kind of stuff do you use for this? Da, 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 da. And I've always wanted to make like a little subscription box. This is now telling me that that's not like a great idea. Just kidding. I didn't really promote really well. That's my biggest thing. Like, I'm really awful at marketing. Like, if I could just make something and have somebody support me and be like, hey, look what she made. Don't you want to get it? It's so cool. And or maybe I just say that stuff, but they set up the camera and say, hey, you need to tell people how cool this is. I'm like, I'll film you and then I'll edit it and put it out. Because it's like one or the other for me. Like, I can do one or the other. Like, I can be creative. A lot of artists are not successful because they don't know how to market themselves as an artist. And I know how to market myself as an artist. I just don't do it. It's the execution. It stops me. Anyways, there's a bunch of cool stuff in this box. Some of the stuff that I've used today. One being the hair mask. The hair mask, which is a powder. It's in a powder form. It's amla powder, or neem powder, which is an ancient Indian tradition for growing your hair and detoxifying your roots and things like that. You can put water in this, or you can add oil. So today I did an oil version of it. I mixed a couple different oils, and then this powder, and also some bentonite clay, just to detox my scalp and my locks before I washed it. I also used my face mask today, which is a powder. This is a powder version, which I take the powder. Again, you could add water or ACV. I added ACV, and I also added some Manuka honey to mine because I have a little blemish over here and I'm trying to heal because I keep picking at it. And so that's one thing that I always use. And then one of the oils that I made, not for this, but the hair mask, was a homemade oil that I make, which is castor oil and rosemary and mint. It's supposed to help your hair grow faster and help with any thinning spots, which has helped, like, I'm 41, about to be 42. And I've always had this baby hairline, like, where it's like, it's always been real thin. If I had a baby picture handy, I could show you what I mean. But I've always had this like widow's peak. It's like my hair is real thick right here, and then it kind of, the baby hair goes like this or whatever. And I always like flip flop this little thing right here to help with where the widow's peak falls, to help with the hairline and all that stuff. But anyways, I digress. So there I put a little sample of some homemade rosemary mint castor oil that you can add to the hair mask, or however you want to do it. You can use it as just a thing. You get 2 deodorants because I also have it in the stick form. A lot of people wanted the stick form. This was not the most successful one. A lot of people, when they bought it from me, people did buy this. I didn't use this. I prefer this route. And so I use a little thing like this. It's like a cheese knife. So it's not sharp, but it helps get it out. So what's great about a coconut oil based deodorant. Wintertime sucks because it's really hard, but you can get it out. If you have one of these, scoop it out, put it under your armpit, and let your armpit warm it up a little bit before you rub it. Which is the problem with this. Like, in the wintertime, this is really hard to get out. So, but in the summertime is coconut oil season. You know why? Because all your coconut oil is melting, and it's nice and supple and soft. Whatever. So this doesn't melt because it has beeswax in it. So it's keeping its form, but it softens. in the summertime, which is nice. The other thing, which I haven't done in a while, which I would really like to take a bath at some point. I don't know when I'm going to schedule the next one. Hopefully I do a house sit soon where I can take a bath. But I got these really cute little bottles, and I added a herbal infused detox salt. And so you just add little crystals, and then you can reuse this bottle, which is so beautiful. I should have got one for myself. Did I get one for myself? No, I just got enough for these boxes. But yeah, so you got some detox infused herbal detox salt to take a nice bath, which I really want to take a detox bath. But yeah, a bunch of goodies in here, and then some wild forest sage bundles, so you can, cleanse the air. But yeah, there's a bunch of cool stuff in here. So I am trying to liquidate the rest of these boxes, so I'm going to figure out how I'm going to do that. I might do like a little vendor event. But if you're interested, I know there's some American religious holidays coming up that people like to give things, like Easter and other things like that. Perfect little, it's a gift box that you can give away or you can keep for yourself. And each box, when you order on my website, comes with a wellness tincture, and you can pick which one you want. There's 5 different ones to choose from that I wild foraged the ingredients, and then I infused them myself, and then I make them. This one is mine, actually. The ones that are in the box are in storage for in the area where I store all this stuff. But this one is a blend that I made for myself out of the few tinctures that I did, and this is a respiratory blend. I add this to my tea in the morning, and sometimes I just put it in my mouth. But this is mullein, juniper leaf, and wild sage tincture blend. And this is great because I smoke it every day. And y'all know that. Smoke every day. And I've recently really been adamant about adding mullein to my smoke repertoire because it helps keep your lungs clear, cleansed, and it doesn't help with coughing necessarily. It does reduce coughing. That's the thing. It's okay. Kind of weird. There's a pigeon like hooing outside. It's really annoying. But yeah, so you get a wellness tincture of your choice inside the box. This values at like 180 or 200. I think I valued it at like all of that. If you add it up, these are going for 122 on my website. I'll probably run a special soon. But yeah, I just wanted to like shout that out a little bit while I have you here. But yeah, life updates since November. So I was in Vegas the last time you saw me on live. And while I was there, I was doing Rover to make money and diversify my parking strategy because I was city camping. I haven't city camped since the panini, really, like where I would be like moving every day, but I was moving every day in the sense of like traveling forward instead of just like hovering in a city. And no shade to anybody that does that. It's just not my thing. It's not the style in which I want to do, especially not in a class A RV. And there's people out there doing it in buses, 40-foot buses and class A's and all different types of RVs I've seen out here city camp, because I've been in a lot of different places in Vegas, and then now I'm in Arizona. But yeah, I was doing that. Shout out to my friend Mina, who was who was also hosting me, and I was able to have a friend in Vegas that I could hit up and go hang out with. And she had 2 dogs, and they loved each other. It was hanging out. So yeah, I was in Vegas, and then in January, first week in January, I decided to head to Arizona, where I am now. But I went to Quartzsite first. And on my way to Quartzsite, and you can see this in the video that I did, Quartzsite Adventures. So I was going for Van Life Pride event in the desert. And I saw on the forecast that it was going to be super breezy. This is when the fires and all that stuff happened. I saw that it was going to be super breezy, and it was always breezy in Vegas. And I was like, I don't drive in high winds. I don't know about y'all other RVers, but I plan accordingly. Okay. The only time I drive at night is if I know that it's going to be super breezy or too rainy or something like that. But anyway, so I left early in the morning because I knew it's a short trip from Vegas to Quartzsite. It's like 3 hours. 3.5 ish something hours. GPS time. That's not RV time. So I left because I knew the coordinates for where I was going. I assumed people were going to get there early just to set up and stuff like that. So I was like, I'm just going to get there early and I'll just be there before, because it started on Thursday. And I was like, I'm going to leave on Monday because Tuesday, Wednesday, and early Thursday, really, were all forecasted at like 20 to 30 mile per hour winds. And I was like, so Monday was a chill day. So I left Monday thinking, yes. But before I left, I went to Discount Tire because I was concerned about a tire. And I went to the thing, and the girl couldn't. And I was cool. It was a girl doing it, but like, and she looked, she knew what she was doing or whatever. But the equipment that they had there, they didn't have the hook air filler. They just had the push air filler that was the automatic thing, or the tool on the end of the air filler. It was just like a push thing. It didn't have the little tool where you can push it and hook it. And my tire that I was concerned about is the tire that went flat on the way from Texas to Colorado. And I was like, all right, let me make sure. And when I looked, because I hadn't really looked at it too much. When that happened, I get to Colorado. I was there in Colorado for a little bit. I aired it up before we left. And, I always try to check the air pressure, especially after a long trip or whatever. So I knew after driving around in Vegas, I wanted to go and check the air. And I was concerned about that tire because it just looked low. And so they didn't have that thing either. And so I was like, well, hopefully I'll be all right. And and long story short, the tire went flat. Thankfully in a spot where I could pull over and camp. It was like a camping spot area. And I was able to, thankfully, because I really didn't have no bread like that, to get no new tires or have no breakdown or anything like that. And so my mom was able to give me money for a tire. I had to. Progressive sucks. They have a stronghold on me right now, though, as far as insurance. I hate insurance. But they're the only one that offers full coverage for RV insurance. And they went up $30. And they're the only ones that offer roadside, but the roadside is stupid. I found out nobody likes to work with insurance roadside. They don't mind AAA and they don't mind Good Sam because those two companies pay right away. Insurance, as always, they be taking all long to pay, or they want to shortcut or try to make a deal with the tow companies and stuff. And then the tow companies realize that, and then they just stop taking those people's calls. It was oh, it's Progressive calling. What do we do? But anyways, because I ended up having to book my own stuff because they couldn't find a provider that would come. I wasn't that far away from a town. And so I ended up having to book my own provider, and then It was the whole thing. But I'm trying to think. What was I thinking? Oh, anyways. So then I ended up having to camp there for 2 days because I was not driving the high winds. I saw RVs passing by me. I was like, y'all are crazy. Yo, once you pass the Nevada, California border, the roads go from the roads aren't great in either state, but like the roads go from being like this, just like windy this way. And then when you get to California, they go like this and then like this at the same time. They're doing a whole, and I'm just like, and that's what I assume, that pressure, because when your pressure is low on your tires and you're bouncing basically up and down the road, like that's what Bob did basically. As soon as I got into Cali, and I was like in Cali and in and out of Cali and Arizona, like I was on that border. But yeah. So anyways, I make it to courtside after changing the tire, waiting 2 days, and then taking a very short window and very, very early in the morning, where the winds were not high, and booking into courtside. I get to the Van Life Pride event, which was super cool. I was there from Thursday to Monday. I had a friend that I got to finally meet from IG that came down to the event, and it was nice having somebody there like that. I mean, I didn't know her, but like, that we could hang out and like we knew each other ish. And then I met my neighbor, and then we kind of all hung out together and went to the little events that they had, and it was really fun. Like you saw that in the video if you watched the courtside video. But yeah, it was a very fun event. I really needed that, like, socialization, camaraderie amongst a community that I align with as far as like LGBT and all that stuff. And then also just being able to camp and chill for a couple days. Like it was nice. And then from there, I went to RTR for 1 day because they had a showing and I wanted to have another opportunity to sell my boxes and stuff like that, and to go to RTR. And so I went and I did the large vehicle showing day, which was one of the last days. And while I was there, I was like, I'm sure there's going to be some Black RVers there. And I had heard that there was some Black RVers camping in the desert, but I didn't know which Facebook group it was. And I didn't see anything online as far as like anybody. And I put a little shout out or a little post in some of the Black RV groups about like, is anybody in courtside? And nobody responded. And so anyways, I go there and I'm trying to remember who recruited who. I think it was Paul. No, I didn't meet Paula. Who did I meet? I can't remember who I met, but I met somebody from a small WhatsApp group called Skin Folks. And they are a nomadic group, mostly made up of older aunties who are part-time nomads, which I love that for them. Like some of them are part-time-ish, and like where they're more full-time than part-time, but because they're retired like vets or something like that. But they have a house. A lot of them like have a house and they go back to their house and they just adventure for long periods of time because they can. But it was so nice being around all Black people. Like there's just something different about like RTR was not my people. Like it was really weird for me actually, because it had been a while since I did like a tour thing, and because I did the Tiny House Festival with the Purple Palace when I was in Florida. I did that 2 times in Florida, and so I got a taste of like people coming in and seeing what I did and being impressed and seeing the purple and having the same mundane conversation over and over again. But there was quite a few people that came and like chokehold me, and not like chokehold me like this, but like with like when they get you in a conversation and they're like locked eyes. They really like their style of conversation is like very aggressively like, I need your attention and I have it and don't go anywhere. I have something to tell you. But it's like nothing. Like, it's like nothing. They're not telling you anything that's going to change your life or that's going to change their life. It was just like something they saw that like reminded them of something. It was very hardcore neurodivergent. And I'm neurodivergent too, but like, and I'm a long talker. As you can see, we're 30 minutes in. But it was just, I don't know, it just was not my people. I mean, Bob Wells was not somebody who was on my list of people when I was like getting into this lifestyle that like, why does this keep it's bothering me? This little line right here keeps moving. I need it to be symmetrical. We check the chat real quick. Mitten62 said, I wish I could do my own retwist. I wish I had somebody that could do mine because I'm overdoing it. This is why it takes so long. Like last time I did a retwist was I think December. And see, I love your videos. I've been watching for some years now. Yay! Thank you. But yeah, so very awkward conversations. Bob Wells was like not like my friend who came from Black Travel Shop. He really wanted to meet him, so he went and met him, and he was excited about it. I'm like, oh, white Santa Claus, cool. I was like, I'm good. I didn't even really go and do any of the festivities, but I was grateful to like just be present there, just because I wanted to go. Last time I was in courtside was during the Panini. It was January 2021, and there wasn't really anything going on because of the Panini. But everybody was still gathered. People were in the desert because it was winter, and people cold there for the winter. So I was there for some gatherings and stuff like that, but like I didn't go. There was no RTR, so I was like, I need to go and stamp on going actual to the event. But I didn't miss anything, in my opinion. And I got recruited by the Black people, and that's all I showed up for. So there was that. And then after that, I went straight to Phoenix and thankfully I made some money while I was out in the desert at the queer event, at the Van Life Pride event. There was 2 days of market, and so people bought stuff for me at the market. And then also the skin folks, like I told them about the stuff that I had, I put it in the group chat and stuff like that, and a lot of people supported me, and I appreciate that. Like I appreciate that because that really helped with gas and groceries once I got to Phoenix, because my money was low. My money's still low. My flow is low. It's not a stable flow, and the flow of it is low. And so I knew that there was gig work on InstaWork, which is one of the apps that I use to make money on the road, in Phoenix. So I was like, let me get to Phoenix, get on these gig jobs. I had some good things pop up on several different apps. I had booked some stuff on InstaWork. I worked for Boeing for 2 days in the little kitchen area. And then I worked there was like an early spring training event at one of the stadiums, because there's like several spring training stadiums in Phoenix, so there's a lot of that work going on right now. But so I went there and did that. Then I also booked on TaskRabbit, some cleaning gigs, and then I also booked and then my friend Phil, shout out to Phil. He came out, and he was already in the area, and we did Instacart together. He just drove, and I did all the thing, and then we just split it 50-50. And so, between those couple things and just being out there, I was city camping at the Cracker Barrels and the some other places. I can't remember. It was mainly Cracker Barrel. There was one spot that I had that was behind a Walmart. It was like a street behind a Walmart, and that's where some of the larger vehicles park. So I parked over there. But I stayed mainly in the Mesa area, Tampa area, and then I went down to the Chandler area. And so I was in that area for the rest of January into the first week of February. And so I started looking online because I'm looking for jobs. I'm looking for work camping. I'm looking for remote jobs. I'm trying to get my income back into a location independent way instead of and getting out of the gig working scenarios and situations. And I came across on one of the work camping apps a last minute work right now until the beginning of spring. You know, it's like the winter season till April in Yuma. And I had never been to Yuma, and I was like, oh, I can go to Yuma. Perfect. I wish I would have saw this ahead of time because Quartzsite is right up the street. But it was working at Castle Dome Museum and Mines. And it's basically in the middle of nowhere in the Kofa National Wildlife Preserve. And when I saw the position, I was like, oh, Yuma. But it's really in the middle of nowhere. Like, nobody else out there. And when I was getting information about it, I knew that I was going to need to have some, because it's a remote area and I don't have a tow car, I was going to need to have some assistance to be able to get into town to get, you know, necessities and things like that. And so the owner had offered up of one of the volunteers that was there. It was like, oh yeah, I have a volunteer who can help you. And I was like, okay, cool. So I talked to him. He seemed real cool. And I trusted that would be a viable plan, you know, going there and then, you know, being able to run my errands and things like that with this guy. And long story short, that did not work out. There were so many red flags that my spirit guides were sending me on, like, prior to even getting to this place. And then I got there, I worked there for 4-ish weeks. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. It was really cool. Don't get me wrong. Like, the actual place is like a cool place. Like, the whole setup of the place is super cool. Like, the actual place is cool. But, like, once again, I'm working at a place that's not set up organizationally. The requirements and things that they want in exchange, like it was a shit show. It's what I call a shit show, when it's just like, there's on one side, there's a whole persona of show and a business that's running and operational and things like that. But behind the scenes, it's chaos. And you're just like, how are you guys keeping this alive this way? So I go into this shit show with red flags that, like, I broke down. I didn't technically break down, but, like, I had some issues with my fuel pump on the way there. I was driving and it jerked and then went and shut off. And I was like, oh shit, I didn't know what to do. So I consulted ChatGPT. ChatGPT. First, I went into one of the Facebook groups that I have, that's Nomad Helping Nomad. I put that in there. Man, the conversation that ensued after that is hilarious. These Facebook groups, they can be helpful, but it's a lot of just, like, people that don't have nothing to do and they just want to be heard. And they say the wildest shit that comes out of their mouth and have opinions about nothing and not helpful. And just, like, they're asking questions like you're in the room and having a conversation with them. I'm like, this is, why did I even bother? I got no helpful information from that little feed. But it was entertaining at one point because some people had some conversation about some dumb shit. But I saw that after the fact. I went to ChatGPT after that and looked up, you know, what it could be, like, explaining the problem. And its first thing was, like, fuel issue. And the last owner of this RV had some issues with the fuel pump and fuel issues, because I have the gauge on this doesn't work. Like, the fuel gauge, I don't know how much gas is in there. I haven't known since the beginning. I just been guessing it and hoping for the best. And I've been doing the old school thing of, like, MPG to how many miles I'm gonna go and how much gas I need to get enough miles to cover that, plus, you know, just to make it. And then I stop on the way to refuel, you know, like, That's what I've been doing this whole time and hoping for the best. I did run out of gas like one time, but I think that has to do with the beginning of this fuel pump issue. And I think the fuel pump issue it's a common issue in these type of RVs, but it's also exacerbated when you're constantly starting and stopping the vehicle, using the vehicle as not intended. It's not intended to be like a city camping working vehicle. Okay, it was intended to be a recreational vehicle where you sit and chill for a little bit, you camp for a little bit, and you drive long distance for a little bit, and then stop, and then but like not stop and go, stop and go, stop and go every day, all day. Like it wasn't designed for that. Anyways, so yeah. So I had that issue. And then when I got into town, I figured out how the ChatGPT was very helpful. Like I said, they pointed out a couple issues. I identified what it most probably was, and then asked it, how can I, bypass or get on with the trip, because I was able to keep starting and going, but then eventually it would stop. And that was because I was going high miles. So it was like, you need to slow down, so that you're not working the pump or putting so much load on the truck. So you should only be going like 40 miles per hour. And then you need to top off your tank so that it's more than half, if not full, so the pump is not having to work so hard. All the stuff made sense. And I was like, oh, yeah. So I did all that stuff. I was able to make it in Yuma, no problem. And then drive around, do my errands in Yuma. And I went to the food pantry. And I went, and they had this narrow parking lot and a narrow way to get out. And I thought I could clear it. I was coming out on the day that I was just told them I'm on my way. I was coming out of the parking lot and hit my right mirror on the fence. The fence just was like on that little turn, was just too close for me to make it. And I thought I was going to make it, and it didn't happen. I thought I could even just glide past it and it wouldn't like yank it. Oh, it yanked that shit out. And I was like, oh my God. So I had to pull over, jimmy rig it up so that it's not flapping or hanging or whatever, and get to this place. And I find out at this place that I don't have full hookups. It's only 15 amp, but I'm like, what the fuck? That's not what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be full hookup. I knew it was going to be off grid. Like they did tell me about the solar. They did tell me about the 7.5 mile dirt road to get there, which I will never ever do ever again, unless it's going to my dream island that nobody else can get to, and I'm not leaving ever. Yo. And so like there was all these red flags getting there, and then like the animals, like the coyotes that week, there was a lot of stuff that went down, and I don't really want to go into all of that right now. I might do a podcast about it just because I really want to like get it off my chest. There's only one other person that knows about this, and this was shout out to my friend Felicia, who was there hearing the commentation of what was going on. She's really the only person that knows about what is going on. I told a few people after the fact, but yeah, like basically I had to leave this place early because the person that I went there, that I use this word loosely because it has a really awful connotation, but this person lured me there under false information about the reliability of their transportation option, which is the reason why I was able to go there. I would not have even gone out there. I could have not have made it work unless I had a ride to get into town to get groceries and do all the other stuff that we ended up having to do, which laundry wasn't included. So we had to go to town to do laundry. The money that we did make was paid in cash, so I had to go into town and put cash. And so like it was a whole thing. And so that this person knew all that and was like, I got you. And what they didn't tell me is that their car was in jeopardy of being repossessed. And I took their car out to go do some errands, and long story short, it got repossessed while I was doing my errands. All my shit was in the car, including my RV keys. And I get back, he didn't want to admit to it. He was embarrassed about it. Then fucking didn't say anything about like resolving the issue for a whole week. And what basically by the time they finally did give me my shit back, I left that day. It was like all these other little things my gut was telling me, my dogs were telling me, my spider senses was telling me, the ancestors was telling me, the animals around me, the coyotes was howling outside of my door every night. They was like, you need to go, bitch. This is not the place. And I had to go. But that fucked up my money plan and a lot. Oh my God, I keep adjusting this. I keep adjusting it and it's not adjusting back. I don't understand. I don't know. I like this dress, but on camera, like I'm trying to, I like symmetry and just, I keep looking down and it's making my boobs look, that's making it worse. Anyways, let me check the chat. Who do we got? Danny! Hey! What's up, girl? Thank you for being there. Yes, it was so fun to meet you. I would love to hang out again before I leave Arizona, but we'll see what happens. So where was I? Yeah. So I had to leave, but my spirit guides always are protecting me. My ancestors are always protecting me. Things are always working out for me. Even when they don't look like they're working out for me, things are always working out for me. So as this was all transpiring, and I was like, this, I knew I had to go. Like, I thought I could stay and, but I had no trust in this dude. And then he just kept getting more suspicious and suspicious. I was like, I don't trust none of this shit. I'm out. But that fucked up my money plan. That fucked up where I was going to stay plan. I took this job knowing that it wasn't going to be the type of money that I needed and that I was going to be sacrificing a lot of time being there. But it allowed me to be sitting and chilling for a little bit, being plugged in, and have my dogs and me be in one place for a little bit. That's why I took it. So I was like, I fucked up that plan. Now I was going to have to go back to city camp. So I went on Trusted House Sitters, which I've been signed up for a little bit, and I haven't really booked anything. And there was one gig in Yuma, and I was like, bet. So I hit him up. It was somebody in an RV, and I was like, oh, so you can do that. Because I signed up thinking, hoping that if I needed to use it, because I signed up for the one where you can use it both ways, that if I was going to need to use it, that somebody would want to be in an RV and take care of my dogs in their house. But I didn't know if that was allowed or if anybody else was doing that. So lo and behold, somebody was doing that. The RVing is pretty much the dominant thing that people live in Yuma. And so these people have a lot, and they have 2 RVs on the lot. One that they're about to sell, and the one that they had originally, they moved out of to move into the new RV, realized they didn't like the new RV, moving back into the old RV. And so they were going to let the person stay in the RV. And I hit him up. I was like, I got my own RV. I can come as long as I can plug up, And they like, bet. So I came. It's 2 weeks. They've been gone. They're on vacation. And it was perfect. It allowed me to just leave that situation real quick and be able to come basically right. I didn't come right here because I needed a little mental break from all of that for a little bit. But to come here and finish out the rest of March so I can come up with a plan. I have a game plan, but I still don't really have like the plan that I want in order to continue. But what I do know is that things are moving in the right direction, that the closer I get, I'm being tested, and I'm learning how to trust my gut and trust my intuition, and also aligning with my goals. I'm manifesting these opportunities. I'm manifesting, like, I'm closer to Mexico than I've ever been. Like, Yuma border is like right there. And I'm like, yeah, which, if you don't know, if you're new here, I've been wanting to get out of this country for years. And I finally made a decision about a year and a half or two, probably 2+ years now, that I'm moving to Mexico, that I'm going to just go to I needed a concrete, like, bigger plan. Is Mexico where I want to, like, ultimately land forever? Like, no. And is it where I want to make the home base? That's the tentative plan, but I needed somewhere to go because I was like, am I going to go to Costa Rica or Colombia? I didn't know. But Mexico felt the safest thing because I tested out Mexico for a month in Quintana Roo. I did Tulum, Playa del Carmen and Cancun, and I felt very at home there, like very much at home. I very much enjoyed it. And so I was like, yep, that's where I'm going to go. And so that's been the plan. Like, I still don't know how I'm going to make all of this come together. My bank account don't say I can go to Mexico right now. My income strategy, which is job or whatever, don't say I can go to Mexico. Don't make sense to go to Mexico. And then with all this fucking shit going on in the world with our fucking country, pissing me off. I'm like, now you're fucking up my plan. Which it doesn't really fuck up my plan. A lot of people have sent me stuff to try to put fear in my plan. Please do not try to put fear in my plan. I don't live in your world. I don't. There's two Earths. Y'all over here, or most people are over here. I won't say y'all. I don't know who's watching, but most people are over here. I'm ascending to the new Earth, okay? And I also don't live in fear. And so, please don't send fear into my family. Several people have sent me stuff. Oh, the border is shutting down. They're making me pay more. I'm like, that's for people trying to walk in that live in Arizona and always just going through. And for the longest, Mexico has just been letting United States just like come into Mexico with no protection. That was about it, actually. Scratch that. But without really following all the rules. All the rules that they're talking about, they're not necessarily all new rules. They're just now enforcing the rules. They're like, we let you guys get away from so long, but you got orange face over here fucking it up for all of y'all. So it is what it is. But it still doesn't really affect me just yet. So that's what I'm trying to like. That's why I know like all of these things is like, okay, what are you gonna do? All of these tests that I've been having with different people is like to test your boundaries, to test your intuition, to test all of these things. And these always arise when I'm about to manifest something big, when I'm about to transition into something big. That happened before I got each RV. Like so many things. And so I just know I'm closer than ever to this plan. So please don't send me things to put fear in my plan. Mexico. Like, as long as I can get in, I'm good. Like, as long as I can time it so I can get in before more bullshit happens, we should be good. But yeah, anyways, before I leave the whole situation with the Castle Dome thing, I do want to talk about some thoughts really quick about work camping. So this was my third official work camping scenario, and the first one, it was all paid. Second one was volunteer, but it wasn't that many hours, and it wasn't that much, really wasn't any work at all. And then I got paid at the end because I signed up to do some extra stuff. And then this one was similar in the sense that it was like volunteer for your spot, and then you get paid a little bit. But this one, like the amount of work that they want you to do in return for the amount of hours and the amount of work that they want you to do in return for what you get is not worth it. And also then working the extra time and the stipend that they give you, which is an extra $100 for each day, is not worth it. So I wanted to, there was a lot of conversations that I had with this guy, and then just internally, because I know about work camping and I've seen all of the ads, not all of it, but I've done my research. I know what's going on in the industry of work camping, and it needs to change. And I don't know what lawyers are in this RV world or whatever, but or not necessarily lawyers, but people who are advocates for change in these situations. But we're all accepting and going along with this, even though things have changed. And I think that volunteering is a word that, or like work camping, they're asking you to volunteer in exchange for your site. And I'm like, so there's a lot of, okay, so the way working works is that, you know, a lot of times they want you to pay for your site with your time, and then any extra you get paid extra, or any extra hours you work on top of paying for your site is they'll pay you. And a lot of times that doesn't come with that. Sometimes you're just volunteering. So it depends on the situation. Like at national parks and campgrounds and state parks and things like that, they thrive off of volunteers. So that one was easy. Like camp hosting is super easy. Like you're not really doing much work, to be honest. So asking 20 hours, it's not really monitored. Is no big deal. You know what I'm saying? Like, and especially if you want to spend your summer in that place, exchanging hours for that makes sense. But like in other scenarios where it's like, I don't necessarily want to be here or be in the middle of nowhere or whatever, like it needs to be all upfront paid because we're helping you run a business. Like we're helping you run your business. And us being there makes it more convenient for you and me, but mainly for you, so that you have reliable workers that can work. And you're also, if it's a couple, that's why they love couples, you're getting 2 for 1 on a site. Now, yeah, they should work a minimum hours so that they are compensating for their site, but it should be on top of their pay. That should be a bonus, the same way you would get what do you call it, pay time off or all that stuff. Like they don't offer any of that, so that should be the bonus. Like that should be the extra. Like if I'm not necessarily being there and I'm helping you run your business, like camp hosting, you can have a camp host there or not. I've been to several places where there's no camp host and several places that are. It's a position that's there to help facilitate unorganization or a lot of questions that could just be easily answered. That's what the campus, you can have a campus or not have a campus. So, but like if I'm helping you run your business and you profit off of that business and you think that paying a couple dollars for my electric and water sewage, like for me to be there to help you run your business is like, that needs to change as far as like the minimum and the expectations of the work that they want you to do, and also like the money exchange, because it's not fair anymore and it's stupid. um but yeah, I just wanted to say that. So if you're out here in the work camping world, and I probably should make another video, I'm definitely gonna make a video about this. And it's already happening. It's just there's a lot of companies that are just like, but we like the slave labor. We don't want to change it. It's still happening, you know. But there are a lot of companies that are like, okay, I'm gonna pay you full for your time and I'm gonna give you the hookup, because that's just a bonus. Like it's like not a bonus, but like a perk, you know, of the job. There's always perks of the job. And work camping has turned into this industry where it's an enslavement industry now, where you're helping people. There's a couple of platforms like that I could say. Also, Wolf, be careful of wolfing. I really agree with the ideas of like, you know, donating your time in exchange for learning or helping somebody thrive or in a startup or something like that situation, or if somebody has low hands on deck. Like I totally agree with that, you know what I'm saying, in that type of exchange and barter. But if I'm helping you run your business, you need to pay. Like it doesn't make sense to be volunteering for somebody who's making a profit, and they're using basically volunteers or slave labor to make that profit. I don't agree with that. But if you're there like learning a new skill, because they're like, okay, we're gonna clear a path and dig up all these trees, and then we're gonna chip the tree. Like, I learned one of those on my wolf, and all the stuff that I did, I'm grateful that I learned. It was, but like the exchange and the experience, you can see that video and that talk, but like ended up being not worth it. And now I've seen a lot of people complain. Like, I didn't even look into like the bad reviews of Wolf until the situation happened with me. And then I found out, like, you know, you really got to be careful. A lot of people are using these platforms to have slave labor to help make a profit for the business. And I'm not okay with that anymore. I've done enough of my own social experimenting research to know that it's not okay. Anyways, moving on. Checking my notes to make sure I stay on track because we're already at an hour. Okay, so yeah, the plan for Mexico, I'm trying to get there before summer starts. I am so close. I want to just go to the beach. Like, I just want to go to Puerto Pensaco, which is like right. So you go over the border, you drive like an hour or so, and it's like the first beach you hit from where I'm at here in Yuma, or if you take there's another border crossing, Sonota. I don't know what that one is, but anyways, it's all on the west part of Phoenix, or go west of Phoenix, those two borders. But yeah, so, but I'm looking for remote work right now. So if you are a remote worker or you know any remote work, and when I say no, not like, oh, I saw some jobs on a job board. I mean, like, you know somebody who's hiring and you got the hookup. Like, otherwise, don't bother. Yeah, and so I've been on like Upwork and a bunch of different things. I just want to have some type of gig, but that's remote. And so yeah, I've been working on that. I also didn't want to leave Yuma area and go back to Phoenix, but I might have to go back to Phoenix to do gig work in the meantime. But I really didn't want to because, one, my fuel pump issue, I really need to get that fixed or worked on. I changed out the fuel filter, which can be an issue too that can cause that. And it's had to change that out. But generally, if what the issue I was having, my fuel pump might be failing. But who knows? But I changed out the fuel filter, and then I also put in some Lucas fuel treatment to help clean out the lines and things. And I also found out, I read the little manual book. It wasn't super helpful because it has 3 other models in there. It's not specific to my actual thing. It's basically a universal thing for my chassis. So it wasn't helpful, but I've been trying to figure out what size gas tank I have because it doesn't say it anywhere. And I also, the gauge doesn't work, so it's not helpful. That doesn't help. But I wanted to know what size tank it is just so I can like know what half would be, because I just been guessing. And it said there was 3 different sizes in there, and I'm just like, I don't know. I'm guessing that it's the one that's the largest one, which is 75 gallons, which is way bigger than I thought it would be. I thought it was like 50 something at most, but I put 46 gallons in the last time I put gas in. And I had to have had a little bit of gas in there. I think I ran out of gas on almost getting there, but it could have also been the fuel pump because the gas tank was low. So I don't know if I was out of gas or it was just hard to pump it because it was so low. I don't know. But yeah, I want to take care of the fuel pump issue, obviously, before I cross into Mexico, but really before I go on any other long distance trip. So that's the reason why I don't want to go to Phoenix. I'd rather stay here local in Yuma, but there's not gig work here. So I would have to get like a little part-time job until I get a remote job or a remote project gig or something like that. But I'm just letting it all fall in. I put all this stuff into the universe, and I know I'm supported. I've pulled cards. I know that things are working out the way that they should divinely. I just am trying to stay active so that my brain doesn't freak out by having plans. I think that that's the only way that I can, not the only way, smoking also helps, but one of the ways that I can help feel like I'm in control and also help with my that helps with my anxiety is to have a plan. Even if things don't go to plan, but like having a plan and be like, okay, I'm gonna do this, 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 and this will equal hopefully this or blah blah blah. So I do have that, and that kind of helps. But I do the reason why I really want to that I've been really focusing on the remote stuff, obviously, because if I'm going to move to another country, I want to have an income source. But I went to Mexico last time and I didn't, and I was able to find stuff while I was there and to learn stuff about how people, different vagabonds that go down there or gypsies or whatever that go down there, and they don't have no work, but they figure out how to stay places for free and to eat and to live and to make a little bit of money here and there. So I know it's possible. I'm trying to reduce the hustle. But this year I really want to refocus back on the business projects that I have. The Royal Poo company, if you don't know, the toilet invention that I made. I have the prototype still in my bathroom that cannot be used. But right now I'm in the search for angel investor, but I have everything prepped, or mostly everything prepped. I would say I'm 90% prepped to be able to pitch to angel investors. But I have to be in that energy, like ready to be in that energy. And the only way I can do that, or not the only way, but what I find best that works for me to be in that energy, to have the energy to pitch things and things like that, is to have some type of income source that I feel stable with. Like when you begging for money, you don't have any money, or not begging for money, but like, or trying to work on a business and you're not eating, basically. And not to say that I'm not eating. That's not the analogy I'm trying to go with. I'm just where you're surviving and you're trying to build a business. And that's what I've been doing for the last couple of years. And it's very, very harsh on my energy and my spirit. And so that's why I've kind of taken a break from all of my entrepreneur stuff for a little bit. To figure out how to thrive in this lifestyle again. But I want to refocus on that and figure out how to get this dating app off of just from concept and bring it into actual realization. And then when I get to Mexico, I'm really going to be preparing to manifest my transition, my lifestyle transition. I want to move out of RV life and move into possibly boat life. I know houseboating is not common in Mexico, but people do live in sailboats and other yachts and things like that. And if you live on the coastlines or near a lake, I just want to live in a different vessel, and also prepare to do my community land project. So those are things that I want to focus on, as well as my YouTube channel. I've been stagnant for years, and it's because I haven't been passionate about what I'm sharing. I'm just like sharing things that I think that the algorithm would want, and sometimes that's related to RV stuff, and sometimes it's random, and I'm just like, I get caught up in that a lot, and I really want to only use this platform, to make money. But I mean, I haven't been making money for years, so it's like that's not the main thrive. The main thrive has to be putting out things that I feel passionate about, and I really want to express myself creatively and speak my truth. And so that's where I'm trying to stay in that form. Now, yes, the things, I have an RV, mobile life, van life audience predominantly, and so that's who a lot still comes to see me. So you guys see in my other videos, there's like, what? But I'm like, where's the adventure? And then when the adventure comes, it's like, that's the video that blows up. And I'm just like, I like adventuring. I haven't been adventuring a lot, but I'm just not passionate about making that type of content or vlogging content where I have to take my camera out and film what I'm doing and get B-roll and make it interesting and figure out how to make that a story. Because that's not the way that you're supposed to make videos in the first place. You're supposed to know what you're going to film and know what you want to put out in the world before you make it, and not just be like super random. And so that's a lot of times how my adventures are. There are a lot of random stuff. Even if I plan it, I know I'm going to go there. Like, it's all random of what I'm going to capture. And so that's just not my thing. If somebody was following me around with a camera, it would be my thing. I think I've made that clear before. That I don't like filming myself. I don't like cinematography. I mean, not cinematography, videography, self-videography, basically. Like, I don't like filming myself and having to set up scenes and set up things and lighting and figuring all that out. If somebody was following me around and was taking care of all that production, I would be adventuring all day, okay? You would see all of that all day long. Because I don't mind cutting that stuff and editing. I love editing. That's the process that I really like about content creation, is like taking all this raw content and then like bringing it together, especially with music, music is what really I'm passionate about. And so that's the reason why I've been doing the Royal Vibe sessions. So far I have 2, but I have made another music video thing before. On my podcast, High Moments, I used to have Playlist Sunday. And so I would make like a playlist, and then I would do little clips from it, and then I'd have the playlist on Spotify for people who wanted to listen, because my podcast is on Spotify. So yeah, and then so I really love connecting with music and dance and that creative expression, because that's really, when I first came to YouTube, that's all I watched. That was all that was really entertaining on YouTube until people started making their own content. So that's what I, want to be a part of. And then also the podcasting, I like podcasting because it allows me to speak my truth. It allows me to just say what's on my mind and be long-winded and talk about stuff. Now, I would prefer to talk to somebody. Like, I really enjoy having a conversation with somebody about something. But sometimes, it's fine for me to just talk to myself. Basically, that's what you're doing. But, yeah. I like the format of being able to just talk to the camera and not it be like a bunch of jazzy stuff. So, and something that you could just listen to and not have to actually watch if you wanted to. Like, a podcast is something that you can listen to or you can watch. And so that's the directions that I've been kind of going with recently, because that's what I've been feeling called to make, even on the days where it's like, oh, I gotta make a podcast, but I don't know what to talk about, or I don't know if I'm gonna get it out. But like, that's the type of content that I want to make, or experiment with making and seeing what type of audience I draw from that, because that's where I want to go. The RV audience, or the mobile life audience, like, I was originally making that content and I enjoyed making it when I was originally doing it, but that's not the reason why I wanted to be a content creator in the beginning. Or a reason why I was like, oh, I can do YouTube. Let me make a YouTube channel. Like, it wasn't because I was like, oh, I think RVing is cool. Like, let me share my RV life. Like, that came later. And that's what forced me to come out of the shadows, because I knew that was trending, and it was interesting about me. But that's not exactly what I wanted to be sharing. So I'm trying to transition and trying to expand or grow, not a new audience, but to expand on the audience that I have and bring the audience that I have now along the journey of me transitioning out of that type of content specifically. Now, the content that I want to make around RVing or mobile living and off-grid is around sustainability and zero waste and things like that, because those are things that I do and that are very important to me. It's related and ties in my royal poo business. And I don't think, and not that I don't think, I've done my searches online and nobody else is talking to about this. So if I'm going to be a go-to about anything RV related, I don't want it to be about, oh, come watch my adventures. Like, there's enough people out there on YouTube that look like me, that are Black, that are women, that that are out there sharing their adventures. Like, I'm not doing that much interesting stuff, and when I do, I sometimes feel compelled to make a video about it, but not really lately. So yeah, I want to move away from that and be the go-to person for like, what should I do about my trash in my RV or in my van, or what should I do about my poop or my waste, and just stuff like that. Like, I want to be that person that when it comes to this lifestyle, but I don't necessarily want to be. I don't really watch that stuff anymore either. A lot of people ask me like, oh, do you watch such and such, such and such, such and such? I'm like, that's content that I was watching when I first got into this lifestyle, but it's not something that I really watch anymore. Now, I do support a few of my friends or people that I know personally, their content, because they're my friends, and I like to try to support people that I actually know too, not just people that I don't know. But as far as like what I watch on TV is not, or on YouTube, is not what I would be filming. So I don't want to film that stuff. I don't really want things that I want to know about, like hacks and tips and tricks about either maintenance or how to make living in the RV more sustainable or more free. So those are the things I want to talk about. It's like how I do this and try and make it as free as possible and do it as sustainably and eco-friendly and zero waste as possible. So that's what I'm going to try to transition into. I don't want to lose the whole thing because it's still my lifestyle. I'm still very passionate about this, but I'm not trying to be like the vlogger, the adventurer. Like, that's never where I really wanted to go. That's just where I happened to have gone at the beginning. And that's where a lot of you guys came from. So that's where I've been, this back and forth energy of like, okay, but I got to keep them entertained. I really want to help, and that's what kept me on Black Travel Tribe for so long. And so that's one thing that I'm saying goodbye to for 2024. I started the Black Travel Tribe in 2021, and I really tried to grow it. I really tried to, make it something of value for the community, but it just didn't really take off. And the passion for me, or the passion, it's just like a fire. Like, when you're excited about something, you make the fire big, and it blossoms, and it's roaring, and it's exciting and new, but you got to keep feeding it. You got to keep feeding the fire in order for it to stay hot. And I would put in a little bit, but it wasn't enough for the flame to be magnificently roaring for other people to see it far away. And that's marketing. Like, I wasn't marketing really great. But there was still fire there. There was still a fire that people wanted to come to. Like, there's still an audience out there of people who want to see Black people on the internet gathering, or want to be a part of gatherings that are for Black nomads, and Black nomads specifically doing this lifestyle. And so, that, and I wanted to be a part of that. And that's the reason why I created it. But I realized last year that I don't have to be the leader of everything that I want to be a part of. And that's hard, just coming from a Leo. And I realized this because it's hard to be a leader. It really is. Like, there's a lot that you have to go. I mean, there's a lot in entrepreneurship too. Like, but it's in general, leadership requires a lot of energy. It's not just being in charge. It's not just being the boss. Like, you have to be organized. You have to roar up the team. You have to, get the people going. And I usually have that energy just like the beginning of a fire. Hot, flaming, big, the beginning. But if the feeding is only coming from me and other people are not coming in and feeding the fire to help the flame keep going, I can't keep it going. I realized that I can't keep it going by myself. And that's what I was trying to do for years with a lot of things, not just Black Tribal Tribe, with a lot of things. But the Black Tribal Tribe was really special to me because I was a part of a movement of Black nomads that birthed onto the scene early on. And people came to my channel to watch the Black Tribal Tribe stuff. Like, they really enjoyed seeing Black people gather as we do, like, doing Black things. Black people doing Black things in what would be considered a predominantly white space. And so I loved being a part of that. I'm always pro-Black everything, but I was underwatering it and it died. Or it never grew. It didn't die. It never grew. And now I realize that I'm not the person that can tend to this plant. And so I have to let it die. That's sad to do it like that, but like, that's basically what it is. I gotta let it die. I don't have the energy for it anymore. And I like being a part of something. Like, when I went to the little skin folk meet up in the desert, they're still meeting up in different places in the desert here and there. And I love that for them. And I love being a part of their little group because I'm part of their group chat, so I can chime in and see what they're talking about. They be cutting up in there. It's funny. There's some funny people in there. But I like being a part of that. I loved when I went to the thing that there was organized events that I didn't have to organize. I just got to show up, bring my food, bring some firewood, come sit and chill. You know what I'm saying? There was fires every night. Like, I didn't have to organize anything. I didn't have to put everything together. I just had to show up, and I liked that. And I liked that it was just a thing. I wanted my thing to be a thing, and it just never became a thing. So yeah, I'm saying goodbye to Black Tribal Tribe. It's been on my mind to facilitate a collaboration of all of the Black nomadic, and not just, I'm part of this crew, like this tribe, as far as like RVing, nomads on wheels specifically. But there's all type of Black nomads, but having like a Black nomad collective of like all these different people who felt the same way as me. We need to have something for camping, or we need to have something for this, or we need to have something that, and all these different groups that are on Facebook and all these different things that are sprouted up and people are collecting and stuff like that, and just have a directory or collective of all these different things, like a tribal collective of all these different groups of people that gather and that are serious about it. It's not just like a Facebook group where people just talk shit, shoot spit, and nobody's really doing nothing. But people who are actually actively gathering and actively want to hold space and have a community. Because a lot of people talk about having a community, and it sounds like a great idea, and it is. It's because we're supposed to commune. We're not supposed to be out here just doing shit by ourselves. Like, that's not how we are supposed to be as humans. And so we want that. We have this drive for that. But the work and the effort that require to put in toward that, we've become so lazy to that. And that's because they don't want us to collect. So they distract us with all these different things. Like, oh, that's too much work. You want to do this over here, don't you? Or because if we collect and if we unite, they know it's over for them. And when I say they, I'm just saying, like, we're living a life that they don't want us to do. So, but yeah, So I just wanted to say that to anybody that's listening. I will make a formal announcement to the people that I still send emails to that are part of the Black Travel Tribe. But like when it came up, when the website came up for domain renewal, I was just like, I don't know if this is what I want to keep doing. I don't want to keep maintaining the website. It's not a lot of money anymore, but like at the beginning it was. I signed up for like a membership thing where both people could be active on the website, and that was really expensive, and nobody used it. So when it came up for renewal, I was like, I think I'm done. I think I'm done. But I would definitely entertain facilitating like a collective, being a part of a collective, or being part of facilitating a collective, but not like leading and being the leader of anything. Um, because I know that there's still people coming into the Black nomadic culture. There's people here that still want something. And so I know that there's that energy and spirit that's still there, but I'm just not the one to lead it, baby. Sorry. I'm out. And as far as like Nomad on Wheels, like that lifestyle won't be my lifestyle for much longer. I want to go to boat life at some point. So that's always like Black Nomad Collective allows for it to be like you got your digital nomad, but having all these different spaces, like on a Discord or something, or I don't know where, but where people can be like, oh, okay, I like what they're doing over here. Let me go. But it's like vetted as like an active collective group that's doing stuff. But there's so many out there. I highlighted a bunch of them on my website, of different events and stuff like that. Like there was like a group of Black guys. I can't think of the name right now. I think it's like, but there was like a bunch of Black guys. They went on hikes and stuff. They did like meditative hikes. And they did like outdoorsy things. But it was just Black guys that did cool stuff in nature. There's a bunch of camping ones out there that have like a camping event annually or biannually. And those are cool. But yeah, I really wanted there to be, and you know, it was a shame. I was telling somebody about the scandal of the Black Nomad meetup thing. If you know, you know. But it's just sad how that went down, because the energy that was coming behind that could have really exploded for both me and her business, or you know, community growings. But also like the energy was there and it's still there, and there's just nowhere to put it. And that's a shame. But I'm sure somebody else will sprout up and have that same energy like I did. Like, we got to have something for us, you know? And there's always that. I see those in all the different spaces when I'm like on all white spaces, and it's like, okay, let's BIPOC section, and we get together. And I'm like, we should have our own thing. And like, yeah, who's gonna organize it? I tried. But yeah, I want to wrap this up because I'm getting hungry. And I'm sure whoever's watching, thank you for coming. Let me see who else is in the chat. Yeah, Mitten 62, yeah, but the country. I like about your videos as well. It seems like you're honest, you're true to yourself, and you believe in one major reason I want. Keep it up. Yay. Black Man RB. Thank you. So yeah, the direction of the channel, what you're gonna be seeing on my channel, is my creative expression and speaking my truth. So you're gonna see vibe. I'm gonna try to be consistent with vibe session, world vibe session. I hope you like that. That's something you can listen to without having to watch it. You can play it in the background while you're driving on a road trip. I play it to give myself views where I'm like, you know, just doing stuff in the house or whatever. But yeah, I have a couple more of those, and hopefully Epidemic Sound continues to pump out good music so I can continue to do that. But yeah, and maybe I'll be able to find the DJing program that I'm using to kind of just like mix it. That's why I'm not calling it like a DJ mix, like it's a vibe session. Like, I'm no DJ. I'm having fun using the little DJ mixing stuff, and I practice and stuff before I do the whole little actual recording. I practice like the scene or the transitions between the music, but I'm no DJ. I thought I would be a cool DJ, and I could still be a DJ if I wanted to, like, because I just love music and I love creating a vibe, and I love a good playlist, a curated playlist of like a theme, like, you know, a theme or a good flow of like a vibe. And so that's why I call it vibe session, because it's like I just like creating a vibe. Like, we going down the road, you want to hear some old school this. Like the next one I'm gonna do is like an old school R&B kind of like Motown, and then like kind of old R&B sound. But yeah, like I just wanna have my creative expression be like the main focus. So you'll see that. You'll see the podcast, Let's Keep It Real, where I speak my truth about different things. So the first one was my neurodivergent personality, and then the second one was my dating struggles, where you get some real life raw stories about the struggles of dating in RV life. Oh my goodness. But it's going to be all kind of different topics in that. That's just going to be the space that I'm going to use for right now anyway, to just come on and just talk a bunch of stuff for a couple hours. It's usually right now, I think I'm like pushing 2 hours on those. So, and then the RV sustainability, zero waste, you know, that's going to be my other focus. So that's where you're going to really see a concentration of content on this channel. If anything else gets added, I'll let you know. I've been trying to do the dance journey for years, and one of the things that I realized about dancing, for me anyway, is like I'm classically trained, and I've always danced indoors, like on flooring. Like I've never danced in the street. I've never been a street dancer. I've never, you know, trained myself to learn how to like dance on any surface. And so I don't have space to dance. And that's the reason why I haven't danced. That's one of the main reasons why I haven't danced, because it's like, where am I going to dance? I can goof off in my, you know, in my RV in little small spaces where I can just do a little thing, but like actually doing choreo and stuff like that, like it's impossible for me to even do. And I have a portable bar that I took out while I was in Colorado for the summer, where I was practicing bar training and stuff like that. But like, and I had a whole little setup for that with my mat and stuff like that, but that still wasn't, you know, that was outdoors. I could only do it certain times because the sun was too hot, and, and there's bugs and things like that. But I'm used to dancing indoors. So until I can get to a place where I can have a space where actually at least I have a floor, to an open floor space and a mirror, preferably, but really just an open floor space to be able to dance. I can't really do dance content or even practice dance. Like, it's very difficult for me to step outside of that. Like the dance challenge that I did over the summer on my Instagram, I was able to dance outside here and there, and I did a couple dances inside. But again, the challenge of that challenge was figuring out where I was going to dance. It wasn't about the dancing. You know, like there were a couple little things where I just didn't feel good about what I was putting out. But for the most part, it was like where I was going to dance and the lighting that was included in that. The production, basically. The videography of dance was the name of it. But where I was going to dance, the location of where I was actually going to like physically dance, was very difficult to strategize. So until I can figure that out, I'm putting a pause on that on my channel. But yeah, I want to focus on these. And that's another thing for 2025 for me, is to stop trying to do too much. Now, I'm always going to do a lot because I'm ADHD, I'm autistic, I'm a Pisces rising, which is a dreamy person who's always trying to do everything. I'm always going to have a lot on my plate, or put a lot of things on my plate, because that's just who I am. But I'm always trying to like laser focus on a few things that I prioritize. Like there's always going to be the to-do list that has way too many things that I could do. I don't know how I'm ever going to stop doing that to myself. It's an executive dysfunction. Uh, where I'm never satisfied because my to-do list is way too long. So I never have a dopamine high of accomplishing anything because I never finish anything because the to-do list never gets really done because there's too many things on the to-do list. But I, even with the vision journal, I just did my vision journal planning. I tried to really hone in on 3-ish things that I really want to prioritize. Not to say that there's not other goals and other things that I want to accomplish, but prioritizing the steps to get toward 3 things instead of being like, oh, I could do this, and I could do this, and I could do this, and I can have this, and I can have this, and I can, like, it's usually like a wish, I realize that some of my, I'm growing as my wisdom grows within the law of attraction and the intent and purpose that goes behind my vision journals. Like, I realized in the beginning, it was definitely a lot of like Santa Claus wish lists where he's like, oh, I want to be this, and I want to have that, and I want to do this, and I'm going to have all of this. And it really wasn't focusing on, I'm going to do all this year. It was just like, in my life, I want to have all of these things. This is what it is. And then as the years have gone by, and I'm now going to be writing, I call it writing, but really preparing or creating. Let's see. It would be my 6th or 7th vision journal. And they've evolved over the year. They started from scrapbook, Santa Claus wish list, to like really drilling down to intentional crafting and creation of my divine life, of my human experience that I am here for. I have complete control over it as long as I am aligned with what I want. And so a lot of people live life on no vision. And some people get lucky in that. And it's not luck, it's just they're using the law of attraction in a different way that they're not even aware of. And NPC, people that are just neurotypical, like they can have one thing they want to do in life and then they go for it. And us neurospicy people want to do save the world and have fun crafts that we do and, learn a new skill. Slot. But yeah, so I'm learning to try to like drill down and figure out just a few things that I really can, accomplishable goals for, and I don't like using the year because we don't even want to go into the time thing. That's going to be a whole podcast on like time travel, time, space continuum, like my understanding of what time is, like passing of time and the calculation of what we're all agreeing is time, because I'm telling you, it's speeding up and slowing down depending on where you are and what you do. Anyways, but yeah, so that is what's gonna be going down on my channel, and I think that's all I had for my life update. I did have my cards over here. I thought I was gonna pull a card. I actually got this deck from, so at the Pride event, there was a free pile, and that's a common thing in gatherings among nomads, to do a free pile, like things that you need to get rid of that you think somebody else might need or want. And I didn't know that you could do this. Like, I have 3 oracle decks, and my first one that was like Old Faithful, I used to, obviously that was my only one, and that was the one I used to get into the whole oracle card thing. And I didn't know that when you're like no longer connecting with it, that you can give it away, or that you could. But I think that's also having to do with the nomadic life. Like, oh, if it doesn't fit, I'm not using it, get rid of it. But for me, like, I always keep that deck. I don't feel like I'm a paper hoarder as well. Like, I keep journals and things like that. So I probably wouldn't get rid of. But anyway, somebody was getting rid of an oracle deck. They gave rid of 2, and somebody came around because I was giving away a bunch of stuff, and somebody came around to my table and they were hoarding Oracle deck. And they were like, yeah, I just got this from the table over there. I was like, and he was like, there's one more. And I was like, really? And so I went, and it's magical mermaids and dolphins. And if you know me, I love mermaids and dolphins. And this picture right here, now there's a fairy in this picture, but this particular picture, you can see, I have a painting on my wall that I made in a paint and sip that I've had for years. It's basically this. It's this, but it's not the moon, it's a sunset, but it's basically a mermaid on a rock looking out with other rocks in the water. It's wild. And then there's no dolphins in here in the picture, but I love dolphins. Like, who doesn't love dolphins? But like, I geek out every time I hear, see, or know that there's going to be dolphins present. You know how like people like get all excited about celebrities and stuff, like that kind of thing, like Michael Jackson excitement. That's how I get it about dolphins. When I know or there's going to be them in the water close by, or I spot them, or I know that they're there. That's how I feel about dolphins. So when I saw this, I was like, this was meant for me to have. And I've been connecting with this Oracle deck, and I really like this one. I was going to read from it. This has gotten really too long. I'm hungry. I'm sure you're hungry. I want to smoke. I'm sure you want to smoke. If you're not smoking already. But yeah, that's all I have planned. If you want to send your girl some gas money, some fuel pump money, you can hit me up on Cashapp. You can hit me up on PayPal. I really appreciate it. If you want to get something for yourself in exchange to support me, you can order stuff online. These are on my website. I got some deodorants left on my website. I also have some sage and juniper bundles left. And then I also have some like print on demand merch if you want to get like something that I designed, print it out for yourself. You can do that and support in that way. But you could also just like send me some bread if you want. But I appreciate you guys coming to my TED Talk. I'm gonna sign off for tonight. Happy new moon and eclipse. I hope you are checking your energy and that you are setting new goals for this new moon, or reinstating intentions for yourself. And yeah, that's all I got. Thank you for coming. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Peace and blessings. I'm out.